All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm, and make sure you hit the bell notification. Let's rock out.
All the time. Everybody is tired of them. Nobody wants to deal with them. Even other Black people do not want to deal with these people. You know when you see them in public, you know when they're going to give you attitude at the CVS. Everybody knows it, and they want to avoid it.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and kick it off, man.
Hold up. Before we start, I got a question to ask everybody. When you think about Black fatigue, right? When you think about Black fatigue, is there a certain demographic of people that you think about in the Black community? Or is it all Black people? I'm asking y'all. I didn't say nothing. I'm asking y'all. When you think about Black fatigue, do you think about a certain demographic or a certain subgroup of Black people? Or is it the entire Black community? I want to know. Give me your honest opinion. I want to know.
My first question I'm going to pose to the panel. When you hear Black fatigue, what does it mean to you? Go ahead, Drew.
I mean, I understood the original.
I think. Sorry, Lapeef, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna let it play. I'm sorry, Lapeef. I think you probably should have named it that way because everybody has their interpretation on it, and I think it could have went a lot different. When you say what's your perspective on it and what do you think about it, I think that it gets away from the actual point of what Black fatigue is in my thought process, right? So the way that I frame the question is, when people say Black fatigue, do you think that they're speaking in regards to the entire community, or you think they're talking about a subgroup of people in that Black community? Because I think what that does then, it goes to show, no, it's not all Black people, or maybe it is all Black people. We don't know. But I think if you frame it that way, now we can really get down to the nuts and bolts of that question versus just, hey, when you hear it, what do you think? Because, you got your pro-Black and your Blacks, they're going to think that everybody's encompassing. Black people are all encompassed. And now it's, they talking about Black people. So it alleviates that aspect of
it. Definition of it, I think that was more in line. But it does sound like people are just annoyed with, maybe being inundated with the complaints of the community. Like they said, they're kind of building on this new narrative. So I can't say I disagree wholeheartedly. There's some truth to that. It's fair to hear people out, but I know it's new. Well, I'm sure we'll expound upon it, but that's what I have so far.
You ain't really said nothing, Trail. I mean, Drew. Playing safe. Go ahead, Pearl. Miss Pearl.
How do we build apps on our company's data?
I can't hear you again. Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't say it like that. So it was a lot that was said in the video.
I want to know what's on the video. I just want to know, when you hear the word Black fatigue, what does it mean to you?
It means what Ms. Winters described it as. It's the erosion of our mind, body, and our spirit from systemic racism and daily microaggressions and lack of sustainable racial progress. So I don't like that they change terms that means something for us to focus on. It gives other races of people who may be ignorant or avoidant of our issues that they may have directly caused. To piggyback on that, ignorance is ignorance across all races of people. We all have degenerates of every race and culture. We don't respect or accept those. That's not the highlight of who we are, and I don't think that's what we need to focus on. Black fatigue is what it stands for and what it will always be, and that's what we need to focus on. Why are we physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted? And let's not focus on the ignorance that they want to keep highlighting. Everybody will be sick of that. that's obvious. Let's just stay on the foundation and build off of that. I land my plane.
Pretty intellectual. When you hear Black fatigue, what does it mean to you?
I mean, for me, it's the initial definition. It's Black people being sick and tired of always being classed in a box, whether it be in America or all across the world as a result of colonization and, you know, white inferiority. But typical, as usual, white people have a habit of stealing our words. So just like woke, and just like thug, and just like ghetto, and just like all of these other words, they just have a habit of not being able to find words themselves. So they take words that we use to describe and explain our experiences, and then they try to steal it to be their own definitions of something that is not the original definition of the word. So I think that Black people should not allow them to again take the word just like they did woke. It has a definition. Like, for example, I have Karen fatigue, right? I do. Genuinely, I cannot stand seeing them crash out in Walmarts and Targets all across America. But somehow, we're not, I mean, like, we all have fatigue with the other race, but find your own word. You see how I just made that up? I didn't have to steal something that's within the white community and make it something.
Well, Karen is basically the same thing as a Black fatigue. It's everybody uses it. Black people use there's a Karen, or white people use there's a Karen. So see what I'm talking about, man? Like y'all, so y'all want to be gatekeepers, but at the same time, y'all don't want to be gatekeepers. Bro, pick one. Pick a struggle, bro. We didn't listen, man. We didn't make up every word we didn't make up every word. We got to stop doing that. Yeah, cool. Black fatigue, whatever the case may be. Yeah, y'all, man, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
So yeah, it's still the original definition for me.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Miss Pearl. But Pearl.
Thanks for having me, guys. So when I think of Black fatigue, I think that people are kind of sick of Black people's behavior and excuses for the behavior. And I would say some of the behavior this is not all Black people, as I always have to say with these kind of conversations, but I would say these are some of the things that people are fatigued of. Black people committing more crime, a lack of basic decorum, a lack of good faith, at times a lack of work ethic, basic manners, sexual behavior in public, dressing overly provocative, taking advantage of white people's good nature, gaslighting, attitude. I could give stories where personally this has happened to me at work, in sports, in cities, and in friend groups. Somebody said microaggressions. I don't really know what that means, but I think that's kind of just an excuse for poor behavior. So that's what I would say it is.
Okay. Go ahead, Ella. Black fatigue, what does it mean to you?
The original definition. I think that what we're witnessing is the fatigue of just ignorant behavior that all races carry. You know what I'm saying? So I think to just coin it as Black fatigue, like what do we call?
Let's because this is what I hate. This is what I hate. Let's look up what it actually means. Let's go Black fatigue. Let's look up Black fatigue, right? Let's look it up. Black fatigue describes the profound mental, physical, and spiritual exhaustion experienced by Black individuals due to persistent systemic racism, microaggressions, and the burden of educating others about these injustices, leading to chronic stress, health issues like high blood pressure, and emotional drain, a concept coined by diversity expert Mary Frances Winters in her book, Black Fatigue, How Racism Erodes the Mind, Body, and Spirit. It's a form of racial trauma manifesting as deep weariness from daily iniquities and is compounded by the need to navigate disbelieving or fragile white colleagues in systems that fail to deliver promised equity. So that's what Black fatigue is, right? That's what they mean. So in meaning basically that Black people are fatigued because of all of the different things that they have experienced or talked about, whatever the case may be. That's what Black fatigue is. But of course, it has been hijacked to mean something else in regards to meaning Black fatigue in regards to how certain people in the Black community are behaving, how they're acting, what they're doing, constantly running in the victim Olympics, different things like that. So it has been hijacked from the actual meaning to mean that. So when they say Black fatigue, Black people in the Black community, when they say Black fatigue, they're meaning like, well, I'm tired of telling white people or anybody outside of our race about the injustices and the spiritual, mental trauma that we go through as Black people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But on the outside, people have hijacked it to making it think like, hey man, listen, bro, it ain't all people, but this Black fatigue, what we mean by it is, is certain people of that group always complaining, always trying to play victim, some shit like that. That's what they mean by that. And let's not act like words don't get hijacked. Words always get hijacked to mean something else. It may mean one thing. The actual root of the word may mean this, but somebody has hijacked it to make it mean something else. Like, let's not be dumb here. We always do this shit. We always do this shit with different words. We can say just for slang. Hey, bro, it's up. What's up? What you mean? It's up. What's up? You mean you ready to squabble? All right, got you. Like, words always get hijacked and then turn into something different else to mean something else. Like, man, we do this with a lot of different words. Like, come on, man.
What do we call what white people do? Is what's the word for that? Would it just be called, hey, we're just tired of ignorance, we're just tired of, or is it white fatigue? Like, to me, Black fatigue is what it originally means. But it's just funny to hear white people talk about the side effects of what their people have done to people, and then talk about, hey, I don't know what's wrong with them. Like, how do our people have been disrespected when we behaved at our best? When you look into history, when people get, what happened to us, all the violent atrocities, the redlining, those people wasn't sagging their pants. Those people wasn't rapping gangster lyrics. Those people were going to church. They was conservative. Their pants was buckled up. They was going to church and all that, and they was blowing them shits up. So when I hear white people, the most violent, the most aggressive, the most pillaging people to ever walk the face of this planet, actually call out people who are just showing the side effects of years of mental degradation, social degradation, economic chicanery. You talk. I know you're getting triggered. It's gonna be a long night. Get ready.
No, I'm not triggered. I thought we could go back and forth.
Hey, Pearl. I will say this, Pearl. You got a whole frame, Pearl. You got a whole frame. Everybody's getting their points off first. Let everybody speak. Just write your notes down, then let everybody talk. You gotta hold off. Let them get his shit off. Let everybody else get their thoughts off, and then you can come back when he opens the panel up. You got a whole frame, shorty. You got a whole frame.
Nobody interrupted you. Get your seatbelt ready. It's gonna be a long night.
Overreaction.
Yeah, no one look at you. This see, like you can't even help it. You can't even help it. We ain't even get started yet. See, you ain't never. You just get your popcorn ready, baby. But like I was saying, right? Because we got literature. We ain't gonna just talk from just our thoughts. I hope you got some literature on your side, Miss Pearl. Pearl. I hope you got some literature, because I'm not gonna just speak from my thoughts, my opinions.
Man, just get to it, my nigga. Like, nobody gotta know your accolades, your credibility. Just say what you gotta say. I hate when this is one thing I hate when people do. They always gotta qualify themselves. I hate when people do that. Just talk, man. Nobody question you about what you read, what you didn't read. Nobody gives a fuck. Actually, let's be 110% clear. We don't give a fuck. Just say what you gotta say, bro. I hate when people do that stupid shit. Yeah, bro, like, you don't know, man. I gotta do all of this, because what you don't know about me is that I actually read. I do all this shit. So I'm coming from a place I don't know what you read. Like, just talk, man.
So what I'm saying is, I'm tired of ignorance of all races. But to hear white people go out their way to co-sign this, when most of Black people's issues, whether it be the drug issue, whether it be their issues with relationships, whether it be their issues with economics, whether it be the hijacking of their arts and the hijacking of putting negative images as far as music. We don't control media. We don't control the major networks. So for anything Black people to do that we do negatively to be broadcasted to the world has to be funded, co-signed, and endorsed by a European. So to hear these same people talk about the things they've done to these people, and then when they have the nerve to show the side effects of that, say, hey, I don't know what they're talking about, just shows you what we're dealing with. So Black fatigue is no such thing as Black fatigue. It is the fatigue of just ignorance of American culture, and it's eroding Black people because we've been attached to most of these atrocities the most. So excuse us for the fact that we don't want to talk to you like we used to. We don't want to be as gracious as we used to, because when our parents was and our grandparents was going to church and saying, yes, master, yes, Paul, yeah, you would blow their heads off. There was a story of a man, and I'm gonna shut up. There's a story of a man, I forgot his name, but there was a story. I could tell you about what happened in my job today, but there was a story of a man, I think his name was Booker, I forgot his last name. This was in the 50s, not that long ago. So let's not act like history don't matter, because we celebrate 4th of July every year. We celebrate past the Civil War and 7 years ago, Ulysses Grant, all these old forefathers, we acknowledge them every year. So the history means a whole lot to this country. He worked at a restaurant for white people, and he said, hey, I try to do my best. I be nice. They call me the N-word. They talk to me crazy. I'm just trying to take care of my family. I'm trying to take care of my kids. At nighttime, I got my own restaurant, and I work it myself. So this man works for white people in the daytime in Mississippi, and at nighttime, he works at his own restaurant. So at that time, Black people, we don't have, even now, but in the 50s, you think, who owns cameras? Who owns media networks? So we don't. So even the people who interviewed him was white. But guess what happened to that man? They killed him days later, just because he had the nerve to tell white people who asked him, well, how white people treat you, just for them to get killed by white people. So I don't want to hear no white person talk about Black fatigue. Now, if you want to talk about the degradation of America, you want to talk about the lack of literacy in youth, you want to talk about just drugs in general, just immoral culture of Western culture, I'm all for that. But don't blame it on Black people, because we're only doing what was done to us.
All right, Pearl, you want to respond real quickly?
Well, yeah, I had a question. How does this work? Am I able, when they're talking, can we go back and forth like a conversation, or that's not allowed here? I'm okay with either. I just wasn't positive.
I mean, if you want to interject, and if the person allows it, then that's fine. But if they say let me finish, then just allow them to finish. Then I'll just come back to you so you can respond.
Yeah, because you was doing every person, like everybody went.
You know what I hate, bro? I hate the disdain that people give, bro. I really do. Look at some of these individuals. They're ready. They see a pasty woman up there. And listen, bro, this is not me caping for Pearl. I'm not. But I'm a person that sees things from a whole broad spectrum, not just from a race perspective, right? There's a lot of disdain in the situation. Look at how some of these Black women are looking. Look at some of these niggas are ready and suited and booted to ready to go in on them. Cool. If you're ready for the debate, have the debate. That's fine. But I just don't. I see certain things, bro. I see certain things. Who said? Let's see. Matter of fact, before we go to, let's see who is CNN owned by. Let's see. No, it's not owned. It's not owned by anybody. It's a publicly owned. It's a publicly traded company. So anybody, myself included, could own a portion of CNN if we invest in it. So we can be owners of the company. It's a public traded company, so you can go into the stock market and invest your money into CNN. Now, the demographic at which who holds the most shares, that could be debated, but it's not single owned by any company, by any person. It's a publicly traded platform. Ted Turner sits on AOL. It's a public traded company with Ted Turner is the leading factor of that. I'm in Atlanta with Ted Turner, and we're seeing it. Yep. I see. Yep. I used to live out there in Atlanta too, bro. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. Facts. Of course. Yeah, you still always sitting at somebody else's table, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it always starts somewhere. Somebody got to own the building, right? Somebody got to own the building. Somebody got to own the building. Somebody, we can do the same thing. I give you a smaller example of that. So if I were to go and purchase, let's go say I was to go purchase a unit that has 4 or 5 rooms, right? Purchase 4 or 5 rooms, and I turn it into a media company. I turn it into a media thing. I say, hey, all my content creators, if you were to rent out each and every, I got 5 rooms that are open for rent. You can rent out each and every one of these rooms. These are for media rooms. I own all the computers. I own all the technology that's in here. You can use it to create your own content without having to have your own equipment and stuff. But you got to pay me a fee every single month to do it. You got to pay me a fee every single month to do it. And so you can be, your whole thing can be one name for this room, one name for that room, one name for that room, one name for that room, and you rented it out because you own it as long as you rent it. But who owns the entire building? I do. I own the building. I mean, I own the company, but I own the building that this company operates in. So yeah, I get what you're saying. I say, yeah, but see, we're still, yeah. Let's see, but what are economics from Puffy to Bill Cosby to Oprah? We shouldn't have to say that. No one else is down the table. Facts. You could create it. That's what I'm saying. We can create our own table. And you could just learn from the other people that may have already been doing it. You can learn from them and go back over here and teach it to everybody else, and you create your own table. Now, that's what they can do, but we too fucking worried about what the white man doing. That's what, and my 9 times out of 10, it ain't even the white people that's owning this shit. It be the motherfuckers that's from overseas. It be the foreign motherfuckers that's owning this shit. That be the crazy part. That be the craziest part.
They turned, he went in row. We could see the panels. He went one by one. It was my turn.
Yeah. So again, I would say even in that interaction, I was very polite to you, where you automatically assumed the worst. So that kind of reiterates what I was talking about. The next argument I'm going to go through. So I'm going to,
no, but what did I assume?
I'm going to keep going. That's going to be gaslighting right there. So gaslight. Okay. Pretend you weren't doing what you did, which is totally fine. I'm a big girl. I can handle it. But
no, you can't.
Example of the black fatigue. Then you're saying you're blaming it on history. I just think goes back to white people are kind of tired of hearing excuses.
Of course you are.
Yeah. And
of course you are, but why wouldn't you be tired of it?
As an adult, you are responsible for your own behavior. So if you do something rude, or if you commit a crime, you are responsible. Nobody else is responsible for it.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's a fact. That's a fact. Facebook, Uber, Amazon, they don't own anything but control everything. Exactly. They do. But guess what? I'm an owner of Amazon too. I'm a partial owner of the company too. So here's my thing. I don't care about listen, I'm part of the owner. So therefore, if I wanted to participate in the decision that Amazon made, I can become a part of that. I can. I can join in on that because I am partial. I have ownership in that company. Now, of course, it means it's different, the amount of shares and different things like that. However, as long as you have shares and you continue to keep investing in that and your shares continue to go up, you got partial ownership of that company. And you can also control the decision that made. Well, help control. I'm going to say help control. Of course, the big dogs, the ones who got the big shares. So we do understand that does matter. That does matter. So I'm not going to be ignorant about that. That does matter.
But that's not a black crime. It's not a black issue.
People commit more crime in this country than black people. So let's.
I wish y'all stop using that. The reason that is because there are more white people than there are black people in the world. Well, in the United States. That's the only reason that number is higher. We got to stop using that because the number is this. If we're 13% of the population, right? If we're 13% of the population, but commit 50% of the crimes, that's horrible. because you're a small number, but you're doing the most crimes at 50% at a small number of percentage of black people that's in the United States of America. Versus the number of people. Let's look at the number. Let's look at that number. See now we diving in. Hey, listen, JB, I agree with you on that too. Because after we had that discussion, I do agree with you on that. Because if you're combining the mixed race too, I think that number is higher. I'm gonna be honest with you on that. I do think that too. I'm with you on that. I thought about that for a minute. I said, what's that? Are they including the people that are mixed too? Or is it just people that are just black? Because there's a lot of mixed races out here that got that black DNA in them. So I agree with you on that, bro. I agree with you on that. I'll come back to that. Fuck that. Let's let it play.
If we're gonna speak facts, let's really stop talk statistics and stop just saying out anything, because like Illa said, you're just
black men are 20
you're not really spewing out any facts.
Black men are
over 50%. No, let me speak.
Hey man, if you want to give me some insight, man, I could put the link in and you can tap in real quick and give me some insight, bro. If you want to jump in real quick. That way you could bring me on the platform, because I can share with you how TV and Turner broadcast systems were set up. Ted Turner actually investing in the whole 24-hour news. Yeah, bro. Like, hey, if you want to give me some insight on that real quick, you can. You know what I mean?
Men are 20 times more violent than white men.
That's what I'm saying. You're showing. Hold on. She said the interruption. She shouldn't start interrupting people, because we wouldn't interrupt nobody. But you want to interrupt, so now you've flown off the flow of the flow, which is what they do in real life. Go off the flow of everything.
Hold on, you guys. Hold on.
She throwing up racist talking points.
Hold on. Let's just do one at a time. Okay, I got the timer. We're gonna do 3 minutes and 50-second timer. Go ahead and let Pearl finish. Getting back to Ella. Ella just remain on silence until she finishes. Go ahead, Pearl. You're on mute. Let me take you off.
Felonies. 51% of arrests for murder in 2019 were black. Black women are 7% of the population, 39% of abortions. Felony conviction rate for black individuals is 61%. Black people are 13% of the population, but are incarcerated 38% of the time. 48% of black adults are obese. 54% of black women are obese.
Here's everything you need to know about Fortnite Chapter 7. You can now revive yourself with the new self-res device, and
1 in 4 black children born in 1990 had an imprisoned parent by age 14. Yeah, so if you want facts, there are some facts. Go ahead.
I would like to know, how do you quantify black men being more violent? I think that there's statistics, but how do you go and measure that? Like, without just the numbers, how do we go through our daily lives and observing just reality that black men, just by default, just by being black, are more violent than all other males walking around? How do we quantify that?
I would say, number one, the data reflects it. And also my real lived experience. I would say that is what I have seen in real life. So
I haven't seen a black man be violent in my years of experience.
See, here we go with this. Two things can be true at the same time. Listen, I don't care, bro. We are here to hear my thoughts and opinions on this. So if I pause too much, I apologize. I'll make sure I clip the actual video here so y'all can hear it in full. All right. But there's going to be a lot of stopping and pausing here. I want to make sure y'all get ready for this. There's going to be a lot of stopping and pausing here, just simply because there's going to be a lot of shit that's going to be said here. I already know it. Every time we come about race, it's always going to be a lot of shit that's said. So I want to make sure I want to go ahead and put that disclaimer out right now. Aisha, two things can be true at the same time. You can be a person that has never seen a black man commit any crime in your life. That can be true. We're not disclaiming that. But what also can be true is the fact that Pearl may have experienced it in her life as well and have seen it. So two things can be true at the same time. So what you may not see, she probably has. Just as me Courtnee Edgar, I haven't experienced racism as a black man, but yet there's probably another black man who has experienced it. Two things can be true at the same fucking time, and this is coming from a guy who lives in that, who was raised in Alabama. This is coming from a guy who was raised in Alabama. So two things can be true at the same time. So the fact that you already trying to dismiss it is already proving the point. Two things can be true at the same time.
So what are we talking about?
Okay.
It's 43 million Black Americans that live here. So your statistics are flawed, like all of the rest of YT statistics.
How are they flawed?
Because statistically, Black men are not more violent than white men. It's just not a stated fact.
They're 20.
No. That's just not a stated fact.
Where are your facts?
They literally colonized an entire civilization. White men are inherently violent, right? That's why we have all of this school stuff going on. We're not doing that.
Do you feel safer in a white neighborhood or a black neighborhood?
I feel more safer in a black neighborhood.
Well,
that's why I live on property.
God help you.
Yeah, I do. I don't feel safe around white people. Like I'm scared of you right now.
Oh my God!
I'm afraid
going off the
because it's because of the white fatigue. Because, and to answer JR's question, I believe that Black fatigue is the original answer. And I believe that they tried to flip it, just like they tried to crowbar their way into using the N-word by trying to tell people that that's okay because they now want to say it. No, it's for us and it's by us. Y'all can't say that either. And
how's it for y'all and by y'all? Weren't they the ones who originally started calling you that shit? But then you adopted the word and started calling each other nigga? But now that they want to say it, now you're like, nah, you can't say it because we made it mean something else when actually the word nigga actually means the actual fact, the actual definition of it. So you did the same exact thing. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? See what I'm saying? See the disingenuous conversation that's being had here? Oh, you can't switch what the word Black fatigue actually means, but yet the word, the N-word, has been switched to mean something else, to mean something more so as a I guess you could say as a term of endearment, I guess. What's up, my nigga? Like, what's good with you? How you feeling, big dog? I guess. So you adopted that to make it something else, to make it, I guess, more positive. Everybody does that. Everybody. They take the word and they make it mean something else. So yes, I'm not dismissing the fact that you may believe that Black fatigue is just what that word is, Black fatigue, cool. But let's not be ignorant and act as if we don't know what people are saying when they say Black fatigue. Let's be 100% clear on that. I'm not ignorant at all, bro. And nor am I gonna play that game. I think the hue of Pearl's pigmentation orientation makes her inherently more susceptible to meeting violent Black men. Remember, slavery bred championship level beings owned by whips. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I
can't try to hijack a term that the professor wrote a book about it. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes to show the colonizer mindset that you guys have in your brain. It's literally disgusting. And it's sickening, right? It's like almost like a mental illness to me, because there is no way that y'all just really came in and hijacked this term in an effort to humiliate or talk down on Black people. When you pull up those statistics, do you know that Black people patent over 50,000 inventions in this country? Do you know that we built institutions? We actually built this country from scratch.
No,
when you bringing up statistics,
what institutions did you?
Let them finish talking.
We know our history. We know who we are. We know our history, and we know we've been here, and we still here. Like 47% of Black Americans live in the middle class. So that little small, degenerate class of people that you like to brag about and y'all like to put on the forefront, we don't like them either. They get shunned by us too. So this.
Thank you. Thank you, Aisha. Now, stick on that point right there, because that's what we always talk about. That's what's always being shown. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad it came out of your mouth first. That's what we talk about. People in the Black community, that's what everybody talks about, the degeneracy of the Black. We don't talk about the people who are actually doing good things out here in the world. We aren't talking about them. We're not talking about them ever. The people that are living in middle class, doing their job, going to work, going to fuck home, taking care of their kids, doing what they're supposed to do. We're never talking about them. We're never talking about them. We're always talking and discussing the degenerate behavior that then makes us, as the people who are actually out here doing good and being contributing members to society, we're the ones that have to take the brunt because of the degenerate. So therefore, when we call out the degenerate behavior, like us, like I always tend to do, we get called coons. We get called, oh, you a sucker for the white man. Nigga, no, I'm not. I'm telling you what it is. If we want to be seen in a different light, we got to talk to them degenerate motherfuckers down there. Get them the fuck out of here. You get them the fuck out of here and really start to showcase more and more of the excellence that y'all speak on that black people are doing, and that these niggas really ain't out here like that. Then that's when the conversation shifts. But we're always talking about the degenerate black people. And a lot of y'all display the shit. And then you get mad when people call you out on it. That's what we talk about.
Whole concept of black fatigue doesn't really exist. Like Illa said, it doesn't exist. That's just a people fatigue.
But you can't tell people how to, you can't tell people
any of those things.
So you can't tell people.
We live under a system of white supremacy right now. We live under a system of white supremacy. That's not going to change today. It's not going to change tomorrow. Currently in 2025, black people live under a system of white supremacy. So to sit on this panel, Pearl, and be disingenuous and act like that doesn't exist, you lying. You lying.
Where?
Energizer's 3-in-1 Child Shield is the world's first coin lithium battery that has 3 different safety features.
That's what I want to know.
Running late?
When people say that, I'm asking them.
You can still.
I want them to show me where. I want them to go down the list and show me where. So that way I can be more informed. Because maybe I'm the one that's lost in the sauce here. Where's this white supremacy at? Where is it? Where is it that I can't walk outside of my own house and just sit out there without somebody bothering me? Show me where. Show me where I can't get in my vehicle, go buy a vehicle, go buy a house, go invest in stocks, go invest in the property. Show me where I can't do that. Show me. Show me what job that you can get as long as you got the skills. As long as you got the skills and you're able to do the fucking job right. Show me where. Jay Bean is a black man. He got dressed. He got a phenomenal job. So show me where black people are under some sort of supremacy. Show me where. Show me where a black man can't get a management position. Show me where a black man can't become a CEO. Show me where a black man cannot be an owner of his own business. Show me where. Do we not understand that there's a 27-year-old black man right now who just fixed up PF Chains. Macaroni Tony doing the same goddamn thing. Macaroni Tony works at one of the biggest companies that's been around since the ages of fucking time. Show me where. There's a black man right now. He fixed up. I forgot the actual position, but it's in the highest position. I think he's 27 years old. He fixed up PF Chains, and then he just fixed up. Then they hired him to fix up Red Lobster. That's a black man. Show me where. Where's the supremacy at? Because if you're good at your job, you know how to do your fucking job the right way. You know how to operate. You know how to get the results. They gonna fucking hire you. Show me where. Yeah, he a CEO, exactly. What's his name? Matter of fact, let me pull up his name real quick. His name is Demola. Demola Adamalekin. Demola Adamalekin. I hope I said his name right. He's a black man. He's a CEO of Red Lobster. So show me again where's this white supremacy? Because if that's the case, if we're so oppressive, if white people are doing the supremacy shit on us, show me where there would be a black CEO. Show me. Show me exactly where this supremacy lies. So that way I know where I can avoid it.
All right. Let me go to get these other folks in before we go ahead and start this debate. Amir, I'm coming to you next with the same question. What does black fatigue mean to you?
Hold up. I'm sorry. You got Brandon Mohawk Johnson is the mayor of Chicago. If there was such white supremacy, he would have never became mayor. And people can't stand his ass. Then you got another, what is he, a mayor? Is he a mayor or the governor? The mayor or over there in Baltimore. He a black man. There's black men in Congress. If there was such supremacy, guess what? There wouldn't be no black people in there. There wouldn't even be black women in there. You wouldn't even have, since y'all want to claim Kamala Harris as a black woman, guess what? She wouldn't even be in the run. She wouldn't even be a vice president. She wouldn't even be the runner. She wouldn't even be runner-up. She wouldn't even be runner-up. Tiffany Henyard. So what are we talking about? The reason that we don't see more, and the reason we don't see more black people in Congress is because we aren't teaching them to become members of Congress. We aren't investing in these kids. We aren't actually molding these kids to get into Congress. We aren't. We're telling them to go play sports. We ain't teaching them how to become finance administrators or become lawyers, become doctors. We're not teaching them that. To become scientists. We ain't teaching them that because that shit's weird. They're nerds. They ain't cool if they do that. They gotta become an athlete or a rapper. That's what we teach them. So I don't want to hear that shit. I don't.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I just want to be honest. Like every single time that we have this type of conversation.
Exactly.
I can't speak honestly. I can't. Because every time I speak, I get told to shut up. I'm not black. I don't understand why
look at Pretty.
They do the things that they do. If I speak on my observations, I'm seen as hateful. If I speak on pattern recognition, I'm seen as hateful or racist. I don't think that this is a proper panel for me to speak on those options, on those topics. I would love to, but every time that I want to bring out a problem or an issue, it turns into something that is not fruitful.
And
I didn't know what the topic.
Look at the disdain on their faces. I'm sorry, y'all, for pausing. I'm sorry, I am. Look at the disdain on Bohemian face. Look at the eye rolls from Pretty. Look at the face on Aisha. Miss Pearl, I think Miss Pearl rolled her eyes too. That's the shit that we talk about. You can't even have a fucking discussion with people. People are, and this is the exact proof. AMRA, I'm just gonna say AMRA. AMRA, she is telling you exactly the experience that she's had. She's like, listen, I want to talk about it, but I can't even talk about it because I'm gonna be deemed a certain way if I say the things that I've experienced or the things that I observe or see. And these motherfuckers can't even pay attention. Just like, you know what? I'm going to take my biased thoughts and opinions. I'm going to throw them hoes by the wayside. And I'm going to actually listen and hear to what they're saying. And then if there's something that I disagree with, I can then correct and say, hey, listen, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You probably have experienced it. But I do want you to understand that there are a group of black people that are like that. And so I see that shit too. So I want y'all to know that when y'all speak on black fatigue, because I know what y'all mean, y'all only talking about a subgroup of black people. Because we know that, because if you've also observed the degenerate, I'm pretty sure that you also have observed the people who are out here not doing the degenerate behavior. You know, they're contributing members to society. You've also seen that too. So That way you can actually have the conversation. But all of this shit here, all this bullshit here, that's not helping the situation. And it goes to further prove the point of what people talk about. Can't even have a fucking conversation.
It was before I came on, JR. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you can speak on it.
No, we did this last time.
Really, they made it
last time. No, I mean, we did this last time. I mean, I can't. I mean, I don't even want to speak on it because
I would like to know what would you say is one of the problems that you observe, Amir? If you're saying there's a problem.
True, you weren't here the last time, or maybe you were. We talked about it briefly, and all I did was speak about what we see. And then as soon as I spoke about things that I see, it was like one of the answers was, well, that's because white people did this, and you don't understand because they did this, and that's why Black people do this, and you can't speak on it because you're not Black, so you don't know. So I don't.
The preemptive cloak of victimhood is giving me fatigue. Like I think that's very exhausting. I'm fatigued with that.
I'm fatigued further with the attitude. You see, she's so polite. Attitude from the Black
girl. I think
she's not even giving you attitude, and Pretty can definitely give some attitude, and she ain't even giving it to you. But the fact that you're talking while they're talking, or the fact that you have an
nigga, let her, nigga, it's two women, nigga. Why you arguing with another woman? Let them two go the fuck at it. Stay your ass out of it, Illa.
I could kill you easily with the stats and history, because this is the thing that's annoying me about you, because we all know that Black people have a lot of issues. We're from the hood. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. I live.
Be honest about it.
Can I finish talking?
Yeah, we might have to get AMRA over here. Like, hey man, listen. You can come over here. You can talk the way that you talk. We gonna listen. We gonna let you get your shit off. Nobody's gonna attack you over here. We're gonna talk about the conversation. And if we hear something that you might say that we may need to correct, we'll say it, but we gonna make sure that we all loving over here, bro. We can have the conversation. He said she just need to go come over here back to bar to get the stress off. The comments can chew her up. The panel will let her breathe. Exactly. We gonna let her breathe. We gonna let her get her shit off.
Hey, please. This is you're expressing why we're upset, because the fact that you think that you're a white woman with 2 million subscribers coming to a Black channel, you think that we're supposed to bow to you as you think that you're the face of intelligence on this panel, but you're not. We're gonna let you talk, sweetheart. Just wait. So what I'm saying is, white folks, we all know Black people have a lot of issues. It's given. I grew up in the inner city. I've seen the dangers of gangs. I've seen the drama of single parent households. It's not nothing to be proud of. It's terrible. But everything has a chronological order. And one thing about being an American, America loves and values and cherishes history. This country values history. They remind you all the time about the Civil War. They remind you all the time about the Gettysburg Address. They remind you all the time about how this country was founded and how the great forefathers of the past, all cultures venerate their history. So let's not pretend that history has no place on the current time. There's a difference between making excuses and saying how things came about. You build the house, you build your foundation, then you build the walls. It's a chronological order, then you have a house. Black people in this country have been attacked when they behave their best. So for you to make claims as if our behavior is a direct correlation with how we're treated by Europeans, there's no precedence for that, because we have proof that when we did behave a certain way, when we did carry ourselves at the highest levels of civility.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words, create.
We were just not disagreed with, not ostracized, murdered. So if we were murdered when we behaved at our best, that's evidence that our behavior is not what dictates this negative response from Europeans. But you want to talk about numbers, so I'm gonna read some to you.
Hey, you gotta wrap it up. I just
want to read this real quick, JR. These, because she loved to bring up numbers. These are stats from sexual abuse offenses. 93.5% of individuals sentenced for sexual abuses were men. 55.1% were white. 15.2% were Hispanic. 13.9% were Black. 13% were Native American, and 2.8% were other races. 67% of individual cases involving production of child pornography were white. 55%. Hold on, sweetheart.
You've been talking forever.
55.6% of individual cases involving travel for prohibited sexual contact were white. 60.5% of individual cases involved in criminal abuse were Native American. 85% of individual cases involving statutory rape.
We gotta wrap it up, Ella.
I'm just saying, you get the gist of it, because I got information.
I'll just say the difference.
But it's not about being racist.
Ella.
All right,
you
can do is laugh. I ain't lying.
The difference. Yeah, see, that's again.
Pearl, 30 seconds. Pearl, 30 seconds.
White people don't get offended by laughing and smiling. That's just basic respect, decorum, politeness.
I'm not offended by it.
No, y'all definitely get offended when you hear that.
That's actually micro. That's
Hold on.
Let it go.
Let Pearl get up 30 seconds. And
the second thing is, I think as an adult, you are responsible for your behavior. So I wouldn't blame that on history. I would blame it on your poor life choices if you're somebody that's made a poor life choice. And because I was rudely interrupted, it's okay. I did it too. The attitude. Chill out.
Ella, let her finish so we can go ahead and get the ball. Just mute up, Ella.
That's all right. He could go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Bo. Never get Courtney in there.
Yeah. You ain't running shit.
Okay, great.
This defensive shit, and y'all are proving the fucking point, bro. Y'all are proving the fucking point. You're proving it. Y'all so ready to fucking attack. Y'all on the defense. Y'all ready to fucking attack. Every fucking moment. I get it. She a white woman. You got some built up aggression against white people. I get it, my nigga. You racist, my nigga. I get it. I understand it. I get it. Hold the fuck frame. Whole frame. Write down some notes if you need to, so you can get your shit off. Y'all niggas don't even know how to operate like a fucking business, bro. And I'm not talking about Lapeef. I'm talking about the other niggas who are already triggering this shit, who ready to go, who won't fucking explode mode already. I ain't talking about Lapeef.
Good God. So now I forget.
Oh, let me see what Battle said real quick. So why is it that anytime we talked about social economic development, we have to go back to gains and empowerment? Exactly. Exactly. Nothing. Nowhere have we mentioned anything about the great things, the investments that they're making, the businesses that they're owning, the properties that they're investing in, the way that they're investing into their children, making sure that they're financially literate. We're not talking about any of those things in the Black community. All we're talking about is we're arguing crimes. We're arguing, you as the white people, y'all do this more crime than we do. So fucking what? By nature, nigga, that's how numbers work. The more people that there are in the world, you got more white people than there are black people. So naturally, the numbers are going to be higher. Duh. Just as if you were to go over to Japan, what does Japan predominantly have? Japanese people, correct? So therefore, if there were 70% of Japanese people that live in Japan, 20% of the black, 20% are white people, and then 10% are black people. So if you look at the numbers and the data and statistics, it's gonna who do you think, just about based off the numbers, who do you think are gonna be typically more likely to cause more crime? Japanese people. What are you talking about? Say, I don't think that she's Anglo-Saxon. I think we need to go back and look at the 17 Shades of Black in regards to who's man. That's a lot that we need to do research. I agree. That's what I'm saying. They got niggas too. Yeah, you feel me? They got niggas too over there, samurais and all. You feel me?
Oh, how do I feel about the word Black fatigue? So when I hear it,
this shit's so dumb, bro.
I just hear literally my entire existence. It's being the safe light skin that's got to hear, you ain't like them other ones. You don't speak like them other ones. You don't act like them other ones. And I'm just like, that's what I hear when I think about Black fatigue. I am tired of them.
Psst. Hand in Stone has a secret. Right now, buy a spa gift card for $150 or more.
Skating by and not taking accountability for the fact that they don't have to know anything about racism, the structure of it, how we have to live our lives going through it. They're not required to know it. So then they're like a bull in a china shop every single day, going through life, just knocking people over at free will whenever they get a chance. And not having to apologize about it, yet still playing the victim, because don't get mad because I done came in here and knocked all this shit over. You just got to deal with it. So now you got an attitude, and I'm gonna call out your attitude for something that I created. And I personally call that the white woman syndrome, where they create the problems and then cry about what they did, and the reaction to.
No, I agree. No, I agree. She's doing a lot of interrupting right now, and she knows she need the whole frame, which I already said earlier. She need the whole fucking frame. But again, we're still doing this. But again, this whole mentality of attack, instead of now Boheme, she's coming at it correctly. You know, she's killing. And Illa was doing the same thing. But then boom, Aisha got triggered. Boom, Pretty got triggered. Then boom, A. Ray, she expressed, you know, why she won't talk about it. So yeah, I understand that aspect of it. But do I think it's the fact of her coming because, oh, I'm a white woman, I can say what I want? I don't think that's the case, dog. Let's be real. I don't really think that's the case. I don't. And people can say I'm crazy on it. It's cool, but that's what I don't think she's coming from that place of, I think because I'm a white woman, I'm a pasty-faced woman, so I'm gonna interrupt because I can, because that's what I do. That's why she had to react. That's why she had to ask the people, oh, well, is it okay? Can I talk? Or like, can I talk and I go back and forth with them? Or do I just need to be quiet while everybody else talk? And then Lapeef said, hey, listen, if they allow you to go back and forth, you can, you know what I'm saying? Or if not, then you just got to be quiet. She was like, I bet. But as you can see, they had it back and forth. So that's when the whole shit started.
But the internalized oppression that Black people have, they hate what they've been told to hate. They buy into the stereotypes that white people said. So that's kind of what has me tired as well. And that is what I think of when I think about Black fatigue. It is having to be responsible for someone else's creation. Like having to pay for something that someone else did, being responsible your entire existence, generation after generation. That's what I think of.
All right, go ahead, Courtnee. Black fatigue, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, so I mean, one, I would say the term Black fatigue, I remember when I first heard it, this was some years ago. It is a term that was, psyoped by white conservatives, just like the word woke. Black people use that term as far as, oh man, you woke, man. You know about history, you know about Black history, you know about these things. So
are we though?
Truthfully, if we're being honest,
are we addressing it, or are we talking about it and ain't nobody doing nothing about it? Are we addressing it? Or is it when we address it, we get called coons? When we address the degenerate behavior? We already addressing what's going on in our community. A white lady with no experience amongst us and just bringing stats and going on exclusively to Black panels to us about ourselves. What the MO? What you mean? What's the MO, bro? Y'all gotta. It ain't no MO. It's a conversation, bro. It's just as if we went into white spaces and we had a conversation about what we see about white people. There's no MO. We're having a conversation. We want to talk about it. All right, listen, bro, I'm a black man. I can speak from it. I can speak from what I see about white people and what the things they got going on. What is she going to, bro, the same thing that she's going to solve is the same thing that black people going to solve. Nothing. But we talking about it. We can talk about it all day as black people, but what are we doing? Nothing. We ain't solving shit. I ain't gonna say we. They ain't solving shit. They ain't building nothing. What are they building? Who are they giving back to? Why does it seem as if it's getting worse for a subgroup of people? So we gotta remove ourselves from that idea just because a white person steps onto the panel and she brings statistics and stats and data based off of her own experiences, and she's coming with, listen, I got lived experiences, which she said, but I also got stats to prove the shit that I see. Like I always mention basketball, like, yeah, I can give you stats all day, but from my experience as a hooper, I can also have the eye test too, so that backs my data and statistics. I see the shit. Like, this nigga's trash, even though he scored 30 points a game, but the stats don't tell the full story because I got the eye test. I see how he get his 30 points. But this other cat, he scored 20 points a game, but his stats don't show how he's getting his points, and this nigga can ball over here. You see what I'm saying? So just because it's a white woman that's on the panel having a conversation, that don't necessarily mean that she has an MO. Maybe maybe it was the peep that reached out to her and said, listen, you might get some good insight on the outside looking in, because a lot of times you get to look at things from an outside perspective and be able to give a different perspective and to see different things. Sometimes it takes an outside perspective in order to understand what's really going on, because sometimes we may overlook some shit. That's just what it is, but it's a conversation. And everybody gets so triggered about the conversation. Oh, she's a pasty woman. Listen, get your guard up, gird up, my nigga. Like, man. Black fatigue is night camo cargo pants. I know it's a convo. I'm talking about the action of her going to exclusively black panels to regurgitate the same talking points. Bro, everybody do that. Everybody do that. Cooley do the same shit. He go on the other women's panels, other people's panels, he regurgitate the same shit that he said on his own panel. Everybody do that. Everybody do it. And they reached out to her. Do you think that they reached out to her? Do you think she reached out to them? And when they had the conversation, even on the Fatty channel, do you think that she reached out to them, or do you think that they reached out to her? So she already knowing the topic that's coming at hand. So she already gonna have the stats and data ready to talk about the topic. So what do you mean? Like, what's the MO? So if somebody tell me, hey, Courtney, look, I'm gonna bring you on my panel. This is what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about women. All right, bet. So what's the consensus of what we talking about women? Are we talking about dating? Are we talking about the way women act? Or what is it? Oh, well, we talking about the dating and how women act. I bet. So now I'm gonna give my facts, data, and data statistics based off of my lived experiences. Also, I'm gonna have some stats to go with it. And then pretty much I'm probably gonna say damn near the same thing that I always say. And I got lived experiences as well as data and statistics to back it. Now, the chicks may say, oh, this nigga misogynistic, I can't stand his ass. Cool, because I'm a man and I'm on a panel full of women. And especially if they already know who I am and they already heard me before, they already gonna have this preconceived notion. They ready to attack at any moment I say something. That's exactly what's happening here. And this is not me defending Pearl at all. But what I'm saying, please understand, I'm not defending Pearl at all. I'm not defending anybody. I'm on the outside of this. I'm just watching as a consumer and understanding what's going on here and seeing how everybody's operating right now. Pearl's over talking a lot of people. Yep, she's definitely doing that. She's doing. She wrote out. She fixed her data statistics though from the Fatty show though. She made sure she fixed that up. She fixed that shit. But that's the way that I'm going about it though. Pearl is a goofy. What makes her a goofy though, Renee?
Honest, the term has been psyop by white
and mind you,
conservatives.
I'm not defending her. I'm just asking. I want to know: are you just saying she a goofy just because she a white woman, or do you actually have some points that can back up what you're saying by calling her goofy?
It is, and it's the far right white conservatives, if we're being truthfully honest, and they have an agenda. The agenda is what I truly think. What I truly think the agenda is. I think it's a complete psyop, because if it's a thing that black fatigue is real, white.
Yeah. What? Yeah, you're gonna make. Yeah, of course you're gonna make money too, bro. Listen, YouTube is about making money too. Like we ain't on here just to not make money. But also that don't necessarily mean that just because I may come here for money, that don't mean I'm not gonna speak on my lived experiences. I could talk about women all day, and if I know there's money there, yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. But I also know that there's money there too. So yeah, I may say that I'm gonna have that conversation. Why not? Why run from it? But just because I'm there for the money, that don't necessarily mean anything. And to be quite honest with you, what money is she running to? Her page is bigger than theirs. No, YouTube ain't necessarily about grifting. There are some grifters and liars on YouTube. I 110% agree. But there's a lot of people who actually tell the truth. There's a lot of people who actually are trying to help. But a lot of y'all don't want to listen because y'all have a preconceived notion about certain people. I can sit here and say the same rhetoric that Pearl says. How many people gonna call me a coon? Considering the fact that I'm a black man, considering the fact that I'm from the South. How many? I can say, yeah, I see a lot of degenerate behavior going on out here. But I can also, on the flip side, I see a lot of great things black people are doing. I know how to play both sides. I understand how to look at it from an outside perspective instead of looking at the person. I can't stand that person, man. So therefore, everything they say is bullshit. I got more context, but too much to type. I got you, bro. I see more people not telling the truth. I mean, I guess, well, you got to change your content then. Change up the content that you're watching.
Like fatigue is what real? Puerto Rican fatigue is real.
Yep.
All the fatigues is real.
Yep.
Mexican fatigue is real. Oh, y'all niggas crossing the border? God dang, stop crossing the border. Put the borders up. Why isn't Trump saying Mexican fatigue? Right? So truthfully, I think it's a psyop, and a lot of the whites have been psyoped by, things that's being trendy on the media right now. Like they'll see a video on X and it's a black woman acting ratchet, which I don't condone this behavior. I think it's immoral. I think it makes the community look bad, right? So we have to be honest.
Did not say that earlier. Did not say that earlier. All right.
Those things too that we do see on the media, but I do think that it's a clear psyop. But
En Cox,
I'm gonna let it play all the way
siempre estamos un paso adelante. Por eso el
I'll
precio de tu plano subirá por 3 años.
talk a little too much.
Let's peel the layer back to this. Why is this happening? Why is the white community on the right? And I would say that I'm a fairly conservative guy. I voted for Trump if anyone doesn't watch my content, but I'm just being open and honest here from what I see, right? But I think it's also a side effect of white guilt. Let's speak about white guilt for a little bit. What is white guilt? White guilt is it's dumb. Like, how did this even come about? Like, white people shouldn't feel guilty for what their ancestors done in the past. There's no black guilt. Like, think about this. Like, how did a particular community, I would say, just be honest, the Jewish community, I would say more of not them. What'd you say? I gotta.
Yeah, that J word, just that.
Yeah. Well, we won't stick with the J word, but let's say let's give them another word. Let's just say it's AIPAC, Israel, those type of individuals. I think it was a psyop, and if you think about it, they truly had to psyop the whites and also psyop the blacks as well. because they wanted to seem like a victim class. So they made then the black people seem like a victim class as well. And that's what created this white guilt, right? So I think it's a side effect of white guilt. And these white people feel ashamed of, like, think about it, when these white people like are kneeling down to these black Hebrew Israelites for all of the sins that their ancestors committed. I think maybe you've seen some clips like that. It's very like stupid when you see this. It's pitiful almost. But I think that, I'll land my plane in a second. I think that the people that have the white guilt, it turned into rage. It flipped and it turned into a rage guilt. So then it went from, when they finally got the truth, and the curtains was peeled back, it's like, wait, we were lied to. We don't need to feel ashamed about what our ancestors did in the past. So now they're like noticing every flaw within the black community. They're noticing it all. It's like, wait, I had to feel white guilt before, but these black people are acting wild over
there. So what he said, now hold on. You wanted to censor the J word, but you wouldn't allow to open up the platform so that everyone get a chance to sound out. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, Clem, I saw that. Yeah, when she said that, yeah, I did say that. I heard her when she said she's a grifter.
Over there, what's going on? Black fatigue. So I think it's like this rage guilt that's coming out of the white community, right? Now, these are just all my thoughts on this randomly. I wasn't really prepared for this conversation, but I'll go ahead and land my plane there since the time ran out.
Yeah.
All right. Would anybody like to respond to Cooley or Pearl? Anything?
No, I would say that it's really not a social media thing. White people get fatigued from black people's behavior in real life. I could give some personal examples. For example, I was in an office. It was all white. The one black guy that worked there decided we're in a sales job. Instead of calling the customers, he was going to call fax lines. So it would register as if he was calling people, but there was no one on the other end. Hiring a black person, having them steal from me. My parents live in an all-white neighborhood. A black family moves in. There's a literal murder. Swear to God, 2 doors down from where my parents live. So, in my experience, and I think white people really, and you guys aren't going to believe this, but I don't think really white people are taught to see race or care about it or talk about it. But then I know you're not going to believe it, but I'm telling you, we don't care.
Pearl, question for you.
And then I'll finish, and then you can go. And then real life happens, and black people take advantage of white people's kindness, and then that's how we're here.
Hey, Pearl, quick question for you. Do you think that it's like black fatigue and the things that you experience? Do you think that it's something that's unique to white people? Like, do you not think that, black people feel a fatigue about whites or other races and things? Or do you think that is specifically unique to black people?
I think white woman fatigue is real. I'd actually agree with you on that. Like Karens, I would totally agree. God, there's a lot of people tired of Karens. But no, I would say if black people were that fatigued with white people, every time they get money, they move into our neighborhoods. So I think
it's our neighborhoods.
1 second. I think it's interesting, right? Like when we talk about black fatigue or white fatigue, whatever that means, the fact that our children in schools now have to do mass shooter drills instead of tornado drills causes me to have white fatigue.
Well, do you know the issue?
Damn, let her finish.
Well, there's a.
Hold on, let her finish.
The entire structure of how we prep our children in schools, because the majority of them are YT people, that gives me fatigue a little bit. Makes me want to homeschool.
Okay, the issue with that stat
is that it's true. The issue with that statistic is it's true and it's riling you up and it's making you turn into a tomato.
Come
on down, let me finish.
Be
feminine. Okay, but be feminine.
That's a great point.
Let me see that femininity come out of you.
That's a great point.
Anyways, so the fact that we have had to hide our animals because y'all just love to screw them, right? Like bestiality. Y'all take over that, right? Like y'all just be out here with the animals, okay? Like somebody needs to talk to you guys about that. The fact that you guys have had a 400 plus year head start and are still the main ones on government assistance. Let's talk about West Virginia, right? And how that entire state is struggling because they were the only ones on Medicare Plus. So we're not going to sit here and act like the entire country, taxpaying citizens, parents, right?
But you do know they built it back up too, JB, and they built it back up too, though. They burnt it down, they built it back up.
Children who are going to public schools don't have white fatigue about the entire structure of our country having had to change because white people cannot seem to take advantage of this 400-year head start that you guys have been given. I would be fatigued as well. I was watching a video, my personal experience. I was watching a video the other day where there was a group of poor whites standing up, pissed off because there was an immigrant driving a Lexus. They're like, look at him driving a Lexus. He just got here 3 years ago and we were still in our hoopties. Yeah, I would be pissed off too. I would be mad that somehow I've had this much of a head start, and yet whenever you see a Black and brown person somehow catch up to you and pass you while your entire family is sharing just one set of dentures, you get pissed off. Like you get pissed off. I understand it, but I just need y'all to relax a little bit and understand that that fatigue goes both ways, my love.
If we're being honest too, we have to be honest and truly honest. If we look at the Black community, one of the real problems with the Black community is the lack of fatherhood in the community. And one can only say when you're, tends to think about this, well, why don't they have any fathers in the house? If you look in the 50s, actually, there were more Black fathers in the house, where I think that it was more white fathers. I think there was more Black fathers in the household than there were more white fathers. Per capita is what I mean. So like, if you look at things, the side effects of, single mothers raising the children, we know that they lead to juvenile delinquents. They lead to a lot of gang violence and a lot of things like that. And if we look at the ideology of things, because I always like to say influence creates thinking and thinking creates behavior. So, well, what ideology did the Black woman adopt? They adopted the liberal white woman's ideology to be independent of a man. Feminism started from the liberal white woman. They want to be independent from the man. They want to be equal to the man. They want all of the same rights and opportunities as a man. So if we're being truly, truly honest here, and we're speaking about Black fatigue, the reason why y'all white people is upset is because of the ideology that the ideology that came from the white woman that the Black woman adopted. And this is why they got rid of the man and married the government and got on SNAP benefits. That's where most of the problems are coming from. So I'll land my plane there.
Good point.
My wallet.
It's gone. Not getting that back.
So I'd like to start with the school shooter stat. That's not accurate because on the south side of Chicago, the issue is the way they like capture the stats. There's a lot of school shootings that aren't included because it's like a certain number that has to die. If it's over a certain number, it's not included in the stats. If you go into the south side of Chicago, there's a lot more shootings than like at the white schools in the suburbs. Majority white, obviously there's no rule or anything. Okay, next, I don't think Black people are really aware of how unlikable and how much attitude you guys have a lot of the time. Even on this panel, pretty intellectual, pretty bad attitude. I don't really have that as much with the white women on my shows, although I am also tired of white liberal women. You have no arguments with me on that, except that I still don't really like blaming a group of people's behavior on someone else. You are responsible for your own actions as an adult, but I do agree that white women are annoying. You will gaslight us and pretend that white people have the same issues, but in real life, I've lived in mostly Black communities and mostly white communities. And when I was in a white community, there's a lot of issues that I did not see that I did see when I was in a Black community. You can get mad and get angry at that. But when I was in the Black community, I would see people shoplifting. I never saw that in 20 years of living in a white community. Things like that. So again, you can gaslight white people and say it doesn't exist or we're making it up. But at the end of the day, we do believe what we see with our eyes. And the other thing is, you said white women and bestiality or something with dogs. The difference is we don't get triggered. So if you say, white women are weird with their dogs, I would agree. So
real quick, let me ask Pearl one question. Hey, Pearl, question for you. So do you think if, where do you think like crime would happen in a rich, speaking of white people, right? A rich, like say they're making a wealthy white family. Am I muted or no?
No, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I just want to say, I know where you're going with this. I'm gonna just drop in one stat, but white people commit the most white collar crimes. So for her to get on this panel and say they don't steal, they steal. I work with them. They steal a lot. Okay, I've been
I would agree with you. I would agree. Why can't we have a conversation about black crime without bringing up white people?
Yeah.
We like.
Are you serious?
I wouldn't disagree. I wouldn't disagree. But the challenge
so would that be considered white fatigue?
When you say something about white people, I would say I am fatigued with some stuff with white people. Like
no, but is white fatigue a thing?
White women transitioning their kids, that's really annoying. I'm like, why are we doing that, ladies? You know, but I'm not going to get triggered and pretend it doesn't happen. The difference is when I
will say this. I get the point that she's making, right? In regards to the trigger aspect of it, because there's a lot of facial expressions going on. Every time she talks, every time she say a stack, everybody go off the walls. And I know at this point, sometimes you got to take that with a grain of salt. You got to do your own research on that and just to get the context of that stat, right? But in this same situation, this thing is about black fatigue, correct? Isn't this the same situation? Isn't it the same situation that happened that everybody was trying to say that Pearl brought up black people when she didn't need to, but yet they're talking about black fatigue and they're talking about the things white people do? Isn't that the same thing that's happening here? Isn't that the same thing that's happening here? So it's okay if y'all do it, but it's not okay if she do it. Listen, I'm just being objective here. I'm not defending anybody. I just like to look at things from an outsider perspective. I'm not on either side. I'm on the side of Courtney. That's the side I'm on. I ain't on Pearl's side. I ain't on Illa's side. I ain't on Bohem's side. I ain't on Miss Pearl's side. I ain't on AMRA's side. I ain't on Trey, Aisha, Pretty, Cooley. I'm on Courtney's side when I'm looking at this situation. So isn't that the same thing? Right? We're talking the topic is black fatigue. But you constantly keep this, and this is the point that I'm always talking. You're talking about one thing, but you can't sit still just to hear the things that's going on, or without even trying to have this attack mode. Oh, because of things that happened to us back in the day. We do the listen, bro. Listen, no, I wasn't affected by that. I'm sorry, and neither a lot of y'all black people today. None of y'all were affected by that shit. None of y'all. You're far removed from it. Let's be 100% clear on that. You have the ability to do any and everything that you want to do out here in this world. It's on you at this point. Now, at this point, there is no more excuse. So what? We're going to go another 1,000 years and we're going to say, well, back then, back in the 1900s, you know, when they were enslaved us, this is how was the mindset. And so this is what trickled all the way down, all the way through generations. And now we're in 3021 and we're still thinking the same fucking way. Nah, bro. Nah, I ain't going. I'm not going. Because the same black people that are out here making big money, real money, they ain't having these fucking conversations. That's for fucking sure. Unless this is how they're making their money. Other than that, they're not having these conversations. Go look at Myron Golden. Myron Golden is not having this conversation. He's a rich black man from Florida. He ain't having this conversation. That's for sure. He over there talking about sales and God. He ain't having that conversation. And he's a very successful man in his 60s. Pretty sure, especially being in Florida, I'm pretty sure he probably experienced it. Or was close enough to it to have experienced it. So I don't want to hear this shit. This is the shit I'm talking about, bro. Cool, we can have a conversation. We talking about black fatigue, what you think it is and what it looks like. I get it. Yeah, but she's also playing the defense and offense where black folks are just being offended. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She playing both sides. She playing both. She playing defense and offense. So listen, bro, you can talk about the white people. Cool. I'm going to agree with you. There are some situations where I don't agree with some white people. Yes, nigga. I'm not arguing that. Cool. Great. But let's get back to the topic. Black fatigue. Let's talk about that without y'all getting offended by it. Am I allowed to speak on it without you getting offended by it? I don't have to necessarily. Stephen A never played fucking basketball in the NBA, but yet and still he can talk about it as much as he want to. He can have a full-on conversation about it. There's many people who ain't never touched the NBA fucking court, let alone touch the basketball. Skip Bayless. He probably touched the basketball, but not after high school, freshman year, some shit like that. But talk about the sport as if he been playing that shit all his life. So you telling me a white woman can't go talk about that same experiences, the things that she see in the black community, the things that she observed? You telling me that she can't do that? You telling me as a man, because I'm not a woman, I can't look at the behaviors and the things that women do, or the women that I see out here operating, so I can't speak on women? That's what you telling me? Or you can't tell me that the things that certain women experience about men, that you telling me that women can't speak on men? That's what y'all telling me? That's what y'all telling me, right? That's what I'm hearing. Maybe I'm hearing. Maybe my ears fucked up. Yeah, but she's also playing defense. Yeah, okay, yeah. So that's what I'm trying to understand.
Hey, stat that's negative about black people. You guys gaslight me and pretend it's not real.
We're not gaslighting.
We didn't deny none of it. But go ahead, Cooley.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question because I just
experience, like I said, and it's 43 million of us. So it just sounds disingenuous and illiterate. It doesn't sound smart for you to say the 20 black people I've encountered, I've had these experiences, because I grew up in a predominantly
it's
black
more than
neighborhood,
that.
and I can tell you my credential.
I've interviewed
and no white people.
Cool. Let's go and let Cooley
Cool. I mean, if we're being honest, we got to be honest about black people too. The thing is, the black community, we've been hearing it. Like, I've been hearing black people need to get themselves together and pull themselves up by their bootstraps since I was a youngin.
I've been hearing
we've
that
always
shit too.
heard this from white people. It's nothing new to us, but I do think that black people.
A woman and her guide dog visit the beach.
And guess what? It ain't
Any gift
changing.
you make to guide dogs for the blind will be met.
There are a lot of effeminate people in black culture, and we need to get away with that. We need a patriarch in the home. But the question that I was posing to you, because I just want to get to your thinking. So if there's a wealthy, where do you think more crime would happen? In a wealthy white neighborhood or in like a trailer park white neighborhood?
Trailer park.
Where do you think more crime would happen?
Probably in the trailer park neighborhood.
In a trailer park, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you're speaking about, now let's go to black people. If you looking at a wealthy black family
Ain't no crime
or
happening
the hood black family, where do you think more crime would happen?
In the black, in the
you know what? It would probably be in the hood, but from my personal experience, even when black people move into white neighborhoods,
you just terrible.
a lot of time. No, I'm being for real. You know,
I don't know, girl. Nah, Pearl. Nah, G. Nah, Pearl. I can't let you do that, big dog. I can't let you do that. In distinguished neighborhoods, in distinguished black neighborhoods, there ain't a lot of that going on. You gotta be, if you're gonna be honest and genuine about it, you gotta be. There's not a lot in the distinguished black neighborhoods. There's not a lot of that going on, and that's in every race. That's every fucking race. Where there's a situation where you got when there's a situation like that, where you have a neighborhood where you got prominent black people, the creme de la creme, that shit ain't happening over there, bro. It's not happening over there. Now there may be some white collar crimes, that's different. But when we talk about crimes, white collar crimes, when people think about crime, we ain't talking about white collar crimes. Ain't nobody talking. They talking about thievery, burglary, breaking and entering, DV, unaliving folks. That's typically what they talking about. Gang violence, shit like that. That ain't happening in those neighborhoods. Nah, Nah, bro, I can't let you do that one. Nah, shorty. Nah. And she can't pedal back because she knows what she's doing. You can't do that.
Pearl, to answer the question, you would say that you would see a difference there. So since there's a difference between white wealth and white poverty and the crime rate would be higher within the white poverty, and it would be the same within the Black wealthy class and the Black poor class. You would see more crime where there's less income. This is true. So if we just take that into account, well, yeah, why it isn't a race factor. It's more to it. It's more of a community, education, family, a nuclear family. So there's more factors.
Economic factor, bro.
Just the color, black fatigue. There's more factors into it.
So again, you can.
So okay, are you saying?
Okay,
then there's an ethnicity thing that's unique to black people?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah. And this is just my personal experience.
Okay, got it. So then it's just unique to black people. That's what I wanted to know. You want to get to the ideology of people.
Let her respond, and then we'll get Ms. Pearl.
All I can, you can, slice the numbers to say whatever you want in some cases. But there's just a lack of basic decorum that even when black people come into white spaces, a lot of times they lack. As I said earlier, it's an attitude thing, a lack of work ethic thing. It's not all, because again, I've met black people that don't do this. It's not every single one. But just as a group, balance of probabilities, you're going to get more of an attitude, lack of good faith, more emotional is just the trends that I've noticed, even on this panel. But not you, Cooley. You've been great. So
go ahead, Ms. Pearl.
Of course.
On the outside looking in, I don't defend nobody. I defend Courtney. Pearl, you bugging on that one. You bugging. Okay, so here's where you were wrong at. You were wrong on the aspect of trying to manipulate that, because when he pinned you to a corner. Yeah, typically happen when you got prominent black communities. There's no crime. There's no real crime happening there. Just as the white community, just as the Asian community, just as the Hispanic community, all of that, right? But when it becomes an economic situation, the poverty level is stricken, it becomes a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. Let them talk long. Yeah, let them talk long enough. That's a fact. Let them talk long enough. That's it. But I don't disagree. When she just said that Cooley has been the one that was cool, common. Miss Pearl was cool. True was cool. And both, I'll be honest. The one that I haven't seen, and I may have missed it. True was cool. AMRA was cool. Lapeef was cool, of course. He had to be cool. And Miss Pearl. Those were the four that I didn't see have a reaction in regards to anything Pearl was saying. Now, that doesn't mean that they agree or disagree. It just means that they are able just to be there and have the kind. I think AMRA, she made some kind of faces too when they started talking about, when they got offended about the black shit. So I think AMRA, so I'm going to take AMRA out of that. So True, Miss Pearl, and Lapeef, of course, and of course, Cooley. They were chill, they were level grounded, and they're just having a conversation. They're not getting all out of pocket and rolling their eyes and shit, ready to pop the fuck off. So I can give credence in that. So, but she just said, just like on the panel, you know what I'm saying? And Cooley was pretty much real cool about it and just having a conversation. When she get off the regurgitated talking point she have, you really see how she thinks.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So there was a lot that was said. I want to make us aware that when we're talking about media and what we're seeing, our stats, where we're getting our information, your statistics are from the FBI and the Bureau of Justice. Okay, what I basically want to say is those people have been and will always be against Black people. always going to perpetuate a fraud, always going to convey things that are not all the way real. I could go on there and speak about stats, and I think you're heavier on stats, Pearl, but you've been on another platform what's already kind of been exposed that you've publicly stated that statistics are not always factual. So I know that you kind of lead with that, but you can give misleading information. You can give information that has been delivered to you.
I can explain that.
Let them talk. Damn.
I know you mentioned earlier you didn't know what expression.
You're getting a little triggered.
Now, like you're interrupting. It's very subtle, but it's very intentional. It's a slight and it's an insult. Like you won't let me finish this if you're trying to epistemically take my knowledge away or my stance in terms of like you just might like you said, I should just camera down right now. That's insulting if I'm speaking to you.
Don't do that. Don't make it a race thing. Just say, listen, just in good faith conversation. That's where we always go off the rails. That's where I gotta go back. No, yeah, she was getting triggered for sure. Now, that's not her in regards to the white person. That may just be her personality. Pretty did it. When Pearl started talking, Pretty went off camera. Aisha went off camera when people are talking. So you can't necessarily do that. Because if you're gonna hold Pearl accountable, you gotta hold Pretty accountable because Pretty did the same damn thing. So see what I'm saying? This is why I don't pick sides. I pick the side of Courtney. This is why I pick the side of Courtney.
That's as if you're turning your back to me. But I'll continue. I'll speak to people who are relevant to the conversation and who are actually listening and want to add value to our community and our culture and help us evolve. See, I was just playing a little bit, but I'm gonna take the gloves off. So when she was speaking about Blacks taking advantage of white people's kindness, she said that once. And then she also said that we take advantage. Hey, how you doing? You take advantage of white people's nature. I don't understand how you could speak about white people's nature here in the U.S., those same people who continuously oppress us under colonialism, patriarchy, and capitalism, which can't literally operate those three motors without sexism and racism of some form. So I don't understand why or how you think we would be taking advantage of a person's nature who are literally oppressing, suppressing, and depressing us. That's why we're having this issue and this conversation about Black fatigue. It's something that white supremacy has created. And until you acknowledge that and culturally justify why you won't let us.
Fortnite Chapter 7 is a vibe. I think there's something unique about this chapter that we haven't seen in Fortnite.
Have our way and be alone and do, because in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we were fine in 1921. We were also good in the 60s too. We were good before you guys came and stopped our movement for human rights and started the feminine movement. We were always fine. We don't need you all. But when you speak like this, it speaks as if you come from a place of white ignorance and white avoidance. It's like you pretend you don't know these issues exist, and then you don't want to talk about them. You kind of do both of those. So before you kind of interrupted me, I was speaking about like our media representation, which we know is one-sided, and that's evolving around artificial whiteness. It's the ideology that's embedded in the concepts of like AI and where you get your statistics, the media, and what we're talking about right now. It mimics the logic of white supremacy, and it's very Eurocentric and masculinist. But I get it. That's where you get your information from. But again, it's one-sided. Doesn't add value to this conversation. But I'll let my plane because I know real people understand.
Let me ask her a question to test her logic. If you mind yielding the floor to me, Pearl, I would just want to test her logic.
No, I was going to respond to her.
Okay, sure. Go ahead. Because I just want to test the logic. It sounded nonsensical, but go ahead.
No, so the reason I know she said that I forgot what she said about the facts, data, and statistics, but my opinion on facts, data, and statistics is they can be helpful. However, you do need to take them with a grain of salt because you will be easily
which is what I said. You take them with a grain of salt.
Manipulated. If anybody can put a study in front of you, and
she also I'll listen, bro. I've also heard her say in her stats too. You got to do I've heard her say, you also, when I give out stats, you also got to do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. So she also says that too in her points. Now, is she a terrible debater? 100%. Terrible at debating. But I've also heard that say I watched a lot of her content too. So we got to be honest about that too. She said it. I even said, I said, listen, when she give out stats, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
You automatically believe the study. So that's my opinion on it. I think I've interviewed 1,000 people, and I found that what you see in real life with your eyes is the most accurate. So you can take that or leave it. I understand other people have different opinions. And that kind of goes back to the good nature. You know, again, you can say like, you know, white people, you have nothing to complain about. Black people don't take advantage of your good nature. But if enough white people have that same experience, which a lot of us have had, you know, you can't gaslight us into not feeling it. Like, for example, you know, I hired somebody and I got a camera stolen from me. Hired a black person, hired another black person. They said I had a colonial mindset. And, you know, basically called me a racist at the time, even though I doubled their subscribers. And it's like, you know, we offer opportunity after opportunity, and it's not all. Some of my best employees have also been black, but I just haven't had the same experience. And me personally, I've interviewed 1,000 people across countries, and I've also hired every single race. Like there's no race I haven't hired. So there's patterns and things that you have when dealing with black people that you don't with other races. And, you know, you can pretend it's not real, but our real life experience is gonna keep fatiguing. So
yeah, you've spoken on nothing but your personal experience this entire time.
Yeah, I don't.
Yourself.
Facts. And we don't talk
think
about
that
personal experiences on this panel.
Yeah,
I do want to get True in there. Go ahead, True. And
I
I
don't
what
think that
Cooley wanted to ask.
Yeah, I don't think that it's fair, Pearl, that you make it seem like a person's response has to coincide with what is palatable for certain demographics. If somebody responds with passion, that's their right. If they're not throwing hands or, you know, maybe trying to be overly offensive, in my opinion, I don't think that's an issue. Because you compared a lot of times that as a white woman, you're not triggered. Well, that's your personal choice. If someone gets triggered by something that is being presented to them, I think they have the room for that. When they start getting disrespectful, then that's different. But your comparisons to me are very bleak. People typically focus on very limited experiences and then expound upon it and make it conclusional. And I don't think that that's fair. White people don't spend enough time around black people to, in my opinion, gather the real life experience that is the vast majority. So if you have one isolated incident or maybe even a dozen, and then you compare it to how old that person is, all these other variables.
So hold up. See, this is the problem that I have. This is the problem that I have when it comes to this conversation. So if it's a black person that says the same exact thing, so then what? What excuse do you have now? That's a question I want to know. So if a black person comes out and says the same thing, listen, bro, this is what I see. Then what? Then what's the argument now? What's the argument? What's the argument? And again, I'm standing on the outside of this. What's the argument? I'm trying to see both points. Because yes, Pearl, you can't come from just a personal standpoint. You got to speak on it from an objective standpoint. You got to speak on a broad, because we already know all black people aren't like that, right? We know this. So maybe the type of people that you hire, maybe you didn't vet them properly. You didn't vet the people, the black people that you hired. You didn't vet them properly. So therefore, or the type of dudes that you were dealing with, you didn't vet them properly. And so then you got the result that you got. But then on the flip side of that, you also can't dismiss the experience. You can't dismiss the experience as well as the stats to back the experience. So if a black person says the same exact thing that Pearl says, nobody ever heard Pearl say anything that she said, but a black person says it, then what? What does that make that black person? What is it then? What's the argument then? That's what I want to know. What would then be the argument? Because I've heard many black people say, listen, bro, I can't be in a crowd of too many black people. I heard black people say the shit. I can't be in a crowd of too many black people, bro. I can't. Hey, man, listen. I can't. But then there are other instances where, like, hey, man, when you're around this certain dude, when you're around this certain group, nigga, this shit crazy, man. Everything's elegant, luxury, everything's on point. Ain't no problems going on. You can just enjoy your time. How often do you see that, though? Like, I don't know, bro.
That's what we're trying to get you to understand. You, in my opinion, you can't form a hard conclusion. And I think that sometimes maybe people like yourself, maybe people that belong to, your class per se, they typically try to focus on what they believe to be behavior, and then not having the skill set, in my also opinion, to be able to engage and dismantle some of these interactions. What I've noticed is that there's petty crime and then there's organized crime. White people typically are organized with their crime. They will set up contracts. They will set up whole agendas to thieve from talent and from individuals, and then make it seem like it's okay because that individual, those group of people may not be privy to how things truly work. So I think that the fact that you make it seem like, oh, well, we're not that bad. It's not a bad or a good. I think people need to grow up. I think people need to be better.
Wix, one platform, any website, unlimited creation.
But you can't say one is better or worse, in my opinion. And I think that's the issue that I'm having, because I see white people have attitude, and I see some that are pleasant. I see some that are thieves. I see some that are not. It's, this is a human type of situation. I think Cooley tried to set that up as like, please explain to us in your experience where you see this happening on a regular basis. And I asked you a question: how do you quantify a black man being more violent? You would have to start at the inception of every male born and then track their life. Because I can tell you, being a brother, most brothers are not violent. Most brothers can't even fight. Most men can't fight. They don't even, own the.
Oh, just because some niggas can't fight don't mean that these niggas ain't out here fighting. Let's be clear about that too.
Copyright of martial arts being something that is a discipline, but also is tied to knowing how to strike and knowing how to defend oneself.
That has nothing to do with fighting. Just because you don't know martial arts and learn how to strike, that don't mean niggas ain't out here fighting when they can't fight. Come on, bro. Come on, fam. I see where you're going with it, though. But no, that was a horrible point.
For you to make blatant statements, I think is very disingenuous. I would like to have a conversation where we can hopefully grow and learn some stuff, but the attacks are not necessary, in my opinion. And I land.
Okay, so can I respond? Cool. All right. So again, Black people do have the right to be passionate when they talk, but we also have the right to be fatigued. So it can be very fatiguing when, it's a little bit rude. Just my opinion. You can take it or leave it. Black people do commit more crimes. I think it's very obvious with the crime rate. The fact that you're kind of uneasy generally when you're in a Black area, you're much more likely to have someone commit a crime. And a third of Black men have felonies. So, I don't even know why we're arguing that point. Like, it's very obvious that Black people commit more violent crime. Like, I'm not going to gaslight you about the liberal white women. Like, can't we just be real here for like 2 seconds?
If you add in per capita, we can have an honest conversation. If you add in per capita, we
fine. Say per capita. Fine.
You did not, but you said commit per capita.
I know, but see, that's bad faith.
Fundamentally do not. That would not be the case.
It's like it never ends.
You continue to speak on your personal experience. You continue to center yourself. You spoke about employing Black people. The majority of white people in America are laborers. They do not employ anybody. They are employed. So therefore, you speaking about your experience as an employer is quite literally antidotal to you and the minority. The majority of people are not out here hiring people. So
that's not true, though. That's not what I said.
And another thing that I know about you, like you're third generation, like your family is wealthy. So you do not have any experience with, oh, I was in a white neighborhood and the black people moved in. You didn't talk to the black people, sweetie. You did not talk to the black people. You were not around the black people.
Oh, that's
you
not
are making it up.
Okay.
So that's why it's hard to listen to you, because I would like you to say something that's founded in fact and not just your feelings. I do understand like you want to embody the ideology of a feminine woman, but please try to practice some stoicism and speak on some kind of facts. Like use some numbers. You threw out a bunch of statistics from the FBI, then turned around and said, I don't trust statistics, and then spoke specifically about your experience as soon as your statistics from the FBI was debunked. So like what we're seeing here is that you're pivoting and you're continuously trying to do this to move us from the point of the argument. But the point of the argument is black fatigue based in something more than just Pearly things experience.
Well, it wouldn't just be my experience, because there's a ton of people online talking about theirs too. Ton of white people are talking about their experience with black people. This is not just me. I don't really understand that.
But Pearl, real quick, by that logic, we have to say that there's a ton of black people speaking about all the systematic oppression and everything from
I gotta
white
finish
people.
Cooley. I gotta finish Cooley.
Just logic.
But you just interrupted everybody on the panel, though.
Because everyone's talking to me. So
we're talking about a topic.
Hold on, y'all.
That's fair. Yeah, let her land her plane. That's my mistake. Go ahead, Pearl.
See, God, I see. I kind of forgot. So this is why I try to get going. But wait, hold on. I forgot what you said. Sorry. Yeah. Please. Yeah, I'm trying to.
I'm gonna go ahead and switch it up a little bit. How much of today's behavior comes from history, like slavery and Jim Crow?
Yeah. So
I would say this, Courtney. You see how pretty taking up for black men when they white lady talking, and like talking to us, but it's different when amongst ourselves. It's different. Yeah, it's different. That's why I don't like that. I don't like that type of behavior. I need you to do that. I need you to be like that across the board. Yeah, I don't like that. You want to take up for black men when it's outside the race, but when it's inside, you're gonna talk all kind of shit going at men, going at niggas like crazy. Like, bro, that's wild. Like, do the same, have that same energy when it's all black people. Have that same fucking energy.
So, you mind if I speak on this a little bit real quick? Because I was gonna ask a question to Miss Pearl and then also Pearl, because Pearl says something like, well, I see a lot of things on social media and a lot of whites are complaining. If using that logic, you would have to be logically consistent and say, well, since black people are always speaking about, the past history of, white people enslaving us and Jim Crow and everything like that, then that must have some legitimacy to it as well.
Hi, Melanie. Hi, Mrs. Winchester.
Right.
But here's the bigger thing though. Yes, it has legitimacy. But to go back to Illa's point, America loves history, right? America loves they are founded upon its history, right? Solid point, great point. But how far back does your history go in regards to your life and your experiences? How far back does it go? Meaning, does what happened back then affect me in any kind of way? In 2025, what happened back in 1940? Did it affect me in any kind of way? I'm going to say no. How did it not? How? Most people say, well, what makes you think it didn't affect you? Well, here's why. Every failure that I've had in my life or situation that has happened to me that wasn't ideal, it wasn't because of a white man or supremacy or oppression. It was my own doing. It was because of me. There were things that I could have done better. or there was things that I didn't do that I should have done. The successes that I've had in my life wasn't due to a white man. It was due to my efforts, my wherewithal, my ability to be resilient, my ability to take the risk and just go for it and do the shit and understand that the work that's going to come with it and grind it out and work hard and build a craft. And it had nothing to do with a white man. It didn't have nothing to do with a white man. Like everybody tries to say. Yes, there's a lot of things that have happened in our past. That is not, we talk about that constantly. At what point are we gonna say, yep, this happened? Yep, this happened in our past. This happened, we understand it. Now, where do we go from here? Last thing I checked, there's a saying that we hear it a lot of times in sports. Listen, you gotta have, well, what is it? I'm kind of paraphrasing here. It's the phrase of having amnesia. Like, listen, bro, you gotta have amnesia when it comes to sports. So if you're a quarterback, I played quarterback in high school. Coach will tell you, listen, you can't worry about the last play. You gotta focus on this play. Cool, you threw an interception on the last play. Cool, bet. You still got more game to play. You can't keep focusing on that interception. Because you're not gonna be focused on the right now. And that's the problem. That's the problem with the black community now. This is why it's always an issue when we having these conversations with white people. Y'all always want to go back to what happened back then. Yes, we know this, bro. If you know even the smidget of your history, we understand. Things happened back then. I'm not ignorant to it. But I can't continue to keep reverting back to it every time we're having a conversation about black people, what black people are doing, or a white person says something about what the black community is doing. Listen, my G, if it's not applied to you, if you're not a part of that black fatigue that they're talking about, bro, move the fuck on. Now, oh, well, shit, listen. I'm being on the panel like, hey, listen, Pearl, I hear you. That's a certain demographic of black people. I would be the main one to say, listen, that ain't my personal experience because I've never been arrested. I've never been to jail. I don't have any felony charges. I'm a contributing member of society. I'm building my own platform. I got a 9-to-5 job that I'm working in. I'm investing my money in. I'm doing all of this. So I'm not a part of that community that you're speaking about. I'm not. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people on there are not a part of that too. But then there are some people who are a part of that community, and they might be triggered, or they know somebody that's a part of that community. It be what it is. It is what it is. But we can't continue to keep going back. Every time we have this black conversation, we can't keep talking about what the white man has did to us and this systematic oppression, people oppressing. Nigga, you ain't fucking oppressed, bro. Shut that shit down. Shut it up. I'm done. I'm done with that shit. I'm tired of that conversation. Now I'm having the conversation because I think it's profound. I think we need to have the conversation in order for a solution. And I'm giving the solution right here. Stop fucking talking about it. Have a different conversation. If you're gonna talk about it, talk about what we can do now. Talk about how you can remove yourself from that. Actually dive into the question like, okay, because I haven't heard nobody ask the question yet. How the fuck are we suppressed? How the fuck are we oppressed? How? Where? And I said this earlier. How? Maybe I'm the ignorant one. Maybe I am. And I'm fine with it. Maybe you know what? I'm okay. If I'm the ignorant one, I'm okay with that. Because that lets me know I'm not thinking about what the fuck happened 400, 500 years ago. I'm focused on the right now, and I'm focusing on the future and where I'm going. And so when we making bread and we making dough out here, and then when my earn not giving community and the Banter and Barter Show, when they out here getting bread from all of this money that we gonna be making, then hey, can't say shit to me. Like, cause that's what we focused on. Cause we ain't gonna be having that type of conversation. Our conversation is gonna be, hey fam, how can we get to a bigger bag? How can we exponentially grow this platform? How can we exponentially grow Bantam Barter Show? How can we leverage Courtnee Edgar Show to build up the platform? How can we do that? That's what we're gonna be focused on. How we gonna help our kids out? Because we're in a tight-knit community. Listen, bro, this is how we can help our children make sure that they're straight when they get older. Making sure that they're straight. Practicing group economics. We're going to be doing all of that. That's what we focus on. Like, I'm tired of having that. Like, bro, this conversation, that conversation gets old. These so-called woke-ass niggas. These niggas, man, I'm trying to validate your credit. Cool, bro, you read. Do your thing. Great. How has that translated into your life? What has that done for you? Has that gotten you a bigger bag? Because yes, at the end of the day, has that gotten you closer to God? Has it? No. It ain't gotten you closer to God. Okay, so it just you got your knowledge now. Okay, now what? You still doing the same shit that you've been doing? Nothing. You can read all day, but if you ain't applying the shit, it don't matter. Cool, you know your history. Whoop-de-fucking do. How does it translate? That's the shit that I'm talking about. That's a fact, J Ben. That's a fact. The only thing oppressing is the reflection in the mirror. That's it. You got to wake up every goddamn day by your fucking self to get up and go make shit happen. Ain't no white man tying you down and holding you down. You choose and decide what you're going to do for the day. I could have chosen not to do a live stream today because I got some other shit planned today. I could have chosen not to do it. But I know I said I'm going to continue to keep showing up every Saturday. And I know Monday, guess what? I'm going to fucking show up at work like I'm so fucking supposed to. And guess what? When I get paid, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to have money going into my investments account. Because I choose to do that. Ain't nobody holding me down from doing that shit. And we're going to continue to keep running up the bag. We're going to continue to keep growing this platform. We're going to continue to keep growing the people around us. We're going to continue to keep building and keep growing, man. Fuck this shit that they talking about. Because at the end of the day, Pearl going to be Pearl. Everybody else going to be everybody else. We already know YouTube at the end of the day, people on there. Listen, she breaking into a different space. People reaching out to it because they know, I'm sorry to say it, but because they got her on the platform, they're gonna get more visibility. And they're gonna tap into a new audience from Pearl's side and on vice versa. That's what's gonna happen. That's the name of the game. And so the only thing that's going to happen here is you going to expose yourself, and that can go on both sides. That can be Pearl exposes herself more and more, or that means the black community people that they talk about with the black fatigue shit, you expose yourself even more. That's what's going to happen. That's exactly what the fuck is going to happen, because this shit can be recorded, it's going to be reacted to, and it's going to stay on the platforms, because I'm not deleting my video, so you going to see this shit. And you can disagree with me, that's cool. I welcome the disagreements. That's fine. That makes for great conversation. But I said what I said. I'm on the side of Courtnee. I ain't on the side of Pearl. I ain't on the side of anybody else on that panel. I'm on the side of me. And that's how I perceive it. That's how I look at everything. That's how I looked at it. This entire reaction. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. He asking me to change my ways. Facts. I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good. I'm gonna make a difference. I'm gonna make it right. Ah, shit, bro. All right, but that was solid, man. Today was good, bro. Today was good. These days, I haven't done a daytime live stream in so long. And last time I did a daytime live stream that wasn't pre-recorded, man, it was when I first started. That was when I only had 10 fucking subscribers. That's crazy. That's crazy. When I only had 10 subscribers, bro, that shit was wild. You hear me? That shit was wild. Hey, fam, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Y'all rocking with the daytime? Or should I keep it at nighttime? Y'all rocking with the daytime? I might do a little bit more of the daytime live streams. I'll see. I kind of like it. We'll see, though. We'll see. But, hey, man, today was dope. Today was fire. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with your boy. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm pretty sure a lot of people going to be in here calling me coons in the comments. That's fine. I ain't tripping on it. I am not tripping on it. Y'all will be all right. Catching that CS while I was grinding on the day. Day shift on the weekend is fire. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So if you want to tap in and you want to show love to the platform, you definitely can do so. You can do so through the Cash App, or you can tap into the Super Chat, whichever one. It is what it is. I'm not expecting it. I definitely appreciate it though, because it helps with the platform, help me grow, help me build, invest in different things. So that way I can continue to keep bringing y'all good, dope, solid content. All right. So you said I'm simply because I'm at work. Hey, I feel it, bro. Hey, it helps the day go by. It helps the day go by, bro. We 3 hours and 35 minutes in, that's for sure. But yeah, man. Hey, listen, I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all day. It's time for me to go get myself together and go rock out and do the things that I need to get taken care of. All right. So until next time, my good people, I'll holla.